Seniors. This morning, habit is silently causing leg muscle weakness in seniors. Stop now. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here, for taking time not just to watch, but to take care of the body that's carried you this far. I never thought I'd say this, but getting out of bed used to feel like a victory, not because I was lazy or tired. No, it was something else, something quieter, something I didn't want to admit. It started small, a gentle stiffness in my knees when I swung my legs over the edge of the bed, a strange tightness in my calves as I shuffled into the kitchen for my first cup of coffee. I told myself it was nothing, just part of getting older. But then the morning walks that once energized me started to feel like uphill climbs. The stairs in my house looked steeper. And one day, as I stood brushing my teeth, I realized I was leaning heavily on the sink, not for balance, but for strength. That was the moment I looked at myself in the mirror and whispered, "What's happening to my legs?" I still felt young in my mind. I still had plans, places I wanted to go, grandkids I wanted to chase around. But my legs, they weren't coming with me, and that realization scared me. So I did what most people do. I blamed age. I thought, maybe this is just how it goes. But something inside me refused to accept that. Not yet. Not when I was only 63. That night, I opened my laptop and started searching, not just for exercises or diets, but for truth. And what I found shocked me. It wasn't just lack of movement. It wasn't just aging. It was a morning habit, something I did every day without fail, that was quietly weakening my legs. And the worst part, I thought it was good for me. That's when everything changed. I remember the exact morning it started to feel different. I was pouring my usual cup of coffee, same mug, same dark roast, same spot by the window. But as I turned to walk back to the kitchen table, I stumbled slightly. Just a small misstep, the kind you laugh off in your 30s. But at 67, it felt heavier, like something inside my legs had let go for a split second. I shook it off. Of course, told myself I must have gotten up too fast. Maybe I was dehydrated. But in the back of my mind, a quiet question started whispering. What if this wasn't just a one-time thing? Over the next few weeks, I started to notice more little changes. I'd get out of bed and feel like my legs weren't ready yet, like they needed convincing. A few seconds of stiffness, that heavy dragging sensation, like I'd just climbed 5 flights of stairs when all I'd done was walk to the kitchen. My daughter Emily came over one Sunday for breakfast. As I reached into the cupboard to grab a plate, I felt a sharp cramp pulse through my calf. I winced and had to steady myself on the counter. Emily looked at me and asked, "Dad, are you okay?" I smiled and said I was fine, but I wasn't. Not really. That afternoon, I sat down and really asked myself what had changed. I still exercised. I still walked the dog. Every morning, I ate relatively healthy. So why was my strength fading? Why were my legs the very things that had carried me through a full career. Countless hikes and hours of dancing with my late wife suddenly failing me. I started keeping a journal, tracking everything I did in the mornings, what I ate, what time I woke up, what I drank, what hurt, what didn't. And that's when I noticed something strange. There was a pattern, a silent one, and it all pointed to a single habit I had done every morning for years. Without question, one habit that no doctor had ever warned me about. One I was about to discover was weakening my legs little by little. A week later, I booked an appointment with Dr. Sims, not because of one stumble, but because I couldn't ignore the growing heaviness anymore. She'd been my physician for over a decade, straight talking, no scare tactics, just facts. I trusted her. After a few physical tests and a long conversation, she leaned back in her chair, tapped her pen twice against the clipboard, and looked me in the eye. "Walter," she said, "I want you to tell me exactly how your mornings look. Every detail, from the minute you wake up to the moment you eat breakfast." So I told her I get up around 6:45, stretch my arms, use the bathroom, brew a strong cup of black coffee. Then I sit by the window for half an hour, scrolling the news, usually on an empty stomach. Around 8, I eat a light breakfast, usually toast, maybe a banana. She nodded slowly. Then she said something I'll never forget. "It's not your age, Walter. It's your blood sugar, and your muscles are paying the price every single morning." I blinked. "But I'm not diabetic," I said. She leaned in. "You don't have to be." That morning, routine coffee on an empty stomach. No protein, no real fuel. It's quietly draining your legs. It spikes your cortisol, drops your blood sugar, and puts stress on your muscles before they've had a chance to warm up. I sat there stunned. All these years, I thought I was doing the right thing, skipping breakfast sometimes to stay lean, drinking coffee to get going. But I was actually setting my body up for weakness, for fatigue, for eventual collapse. "Think of your muscles like a fire," she said. "In the morning, they need fuel. If you give them nothing but caffeine and no nutrients, they burn out, slowly, quietly, until one day you can't stand from a chair without pushing off." That hit hard because I'd felt it. That moment of struggle when I tried to stand without bracing myself, the tremble in my thighs, the ache in my knees. It wasn't just age, it was damage done by me. She handed me a short list. "Add these 5 changes to your mornings," she said. "Do that, and you'll feel the difference in 2 weeks." And she was right. But first, I had to unlearn decades of morning habits. That evening, I took Dr. Sims' advice home with me like it was a prescription for freedom. I sat down at the kitchen table and read her notes again, line by line, not just as instructions, but as a wake-up call. Step 1, no more coffee before food. Step 2, add protein within 30 minutes of waking. Step 3, gentle movement before sitting for long stretches. Step 4, hydrate first thing. Step 5, ditch the sugary toast and just a banana breakfast. At first, I'll admit, it felt ridiculous, like I was undoing a lifetime of routine. I've been drinking coffee on an empty stomach since I was in my 20s, but now I was in my 60s, And my body wasn't just changing, it was telling me something. The very next morning, I poured a glass of water as soon as I woke up. Just that simple shift made me feel oddly more alive. Then instead of reaching for the coffee pot, I scrambled 2 eggs and added half an avocado with a pinch of sea salt. Not fancy, but real fuel. I ate it slowly, watching the morning light spill into the kitchen. My legs didn't ache when I stood from the table. My knees didn't creak as loudly. Was it all in my head? Maybe, but it felt good. Then I walked to the front door and stepped outside for 5 slow minutes around the block just to get my blood moving. No phone, no screen, just motion. The coffee still came. I loved the smell too much to quit, but this time it came last after my muscles had what they needed. And you know what happened? By day 3, the mid-morning fog was gone. By day 5, I stood up from my recliner without bracing. By day 7, I walked the stairs without the usual pause halfway. It wasn't a miracle. It wasn't dramatic, but it was real. Because once I stopped weakening my legs first thing in the morning and started fueling them, instead, they began to respond. And that's when I realized so many of us are unknowingly starting our day by sabotaging our strength. You know what's tricky. It's not just about weak legs. It's about what weak legs steal from you. One morning, I couldn't open a jar of tomato sauce. Another, I needed help out of the car. Then one day, I avoided going to the store altogether because I was afraid I wouldn't make it back without sitting down. It creeps up on you. That slow erosion of strength, of independence. And the worst part, you start adjusting to it. You start saying things like, I guess this is just getting older. But I remember what Dr. Sims told me in that office, leaning forward like it was a secret. Leg weakness isn't the result of aging. It's the signal of habits working against you. Change the habit. Change the trajectory. So I started climbing back up slowly. Each morning I made one better choice. I swapped orange juice for lemon water. I added cottage cheese instead of skipping breakfast. I stood and stretched before I ever touched a screen. I stopped rushing. And bit by bit, I noticed changes. No more thigh cramps halfway through the day. No more feeling dizzy when I stood up. And I even danced, yes, danced, at my granddaughter's birthday party without grabbing a chair every 5 minutes. Do you know what that does for your spirit? When your legs move the way you remember. When getting up off the floor doesn't take planning. It gives you back a piece of you. And that's when it hit me. This isn't just about avoiding a fall or keeping your independence. This is about reclaiming something sacred. Confidence, vitality, movement without fear. And it all started with breakfast. After that conversation with Dr. Sims, I went home and did something I hadn't done in years. I looked at my morning like it was medicine, not just time to kill, not just getting the day going, but a formula, either weakening me or rebuilding me. So here's what I changed. Simple things, but they made all the difference. First, I ditched the sugar. No more flavored coffee, creamers, no sweet pastries. I replaced them with eggs, rich in protein, packed with vitamin D and choline, the nutrients your muscles and nerves are begging for. Second, I added movement. Nothing fancy, just standing on one foot while I brushed my teeth. A slow heel raise while I made coffee. Gentle stretches by the kitchen counter. It took 4 minutes maybe, but my knees stopped feeling stiff before breakfast was even over. Third, I hydrated the right way, not with orange juice, but warm lemon water. That one switch helped me feel more awake, less bloated. And yes, even helped with bathroom troubles, which no one talks about enough. And the biggest shift, I slowed down. No more grabbing my phone before I even stood up. No more scrolling in bed with my neck locked forward and my legs limp beneath me. I sat up, took a breath, and asked, how do I want my legs to feel today? Sounds silly, right? But when you ask your body what it needs and then give it just a little attention, it responds. Now, when I rise from my chair, I do it with ease. When I reach for the top shelf, I don't wobble. When I walk down the driveway, I feel solid, grounded, like my legs are mine again. And all because I finally understood. It's not just what you eat. It's how you begin. Morning isn't just routine. It's recovery, it's fuel, it's foundation. I wish I could tell you there was one magical food, one stretch, one routine that turned everything around overnight. But the truth is, it didn't happen in one day. It happened every day. It happened the morning I chose to stand a little taller instead of sitting a little longer. It happened the day I opened the window and let the sun touch my face before I touched my phone. It happened the moment I realized strength isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. You see, weak legs aren't just a medical issue. They're a signal, a quiet one, asking for attention, not punishment, not hours in the gym, not intense diets, just consistency. And that morning habit, the one we all thought was harmless, checking messages in bed, skipping breakfast, sitting for too long before we even take 50 steps, that's what slowly drains us, Dr. Sims told me. If you don't give your legs a reason to stay strong in the morning, they'll start preparing for a life where they're not needed. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd been unintentionally training for decline, but not anymore. Now, I walk before I scroll. I stretch before I sip. I breathe before the world tells me what to worry about. And let me tell you something. It's not just my legs that got stronger. My confidence came back. My energy. My balance. My belief that life doesn't have to shrink after 60. You don't need a new body. You just need a new morning. These days, my mornings look different. No more rolling out of bed, straight into a chair. Now I give myself 5 minutes. Just 5. I sit on the edge of the bed. I rotate my ankles. I stretch my calves. I take 10 slow breaths, and then I walk. Not far, just to the kitchen, maybe outside to feel the air. I start the day on my feet before the world pulls me back into sitting. And the difference, it's like night and day. No more tightness when I stand. No more that weird, unsteady feeling. When I get out of the car, I feel rooted, ready, like my body is finally showing up with me, not against me. The doctor told me, "Your legs need rhythm. Wake up, stand up, walk, fuel, repeat." So that's what I do. I drink water before coffee. Now, it hydrates my joints, wakes up my circulation. I eat protein in the morning, not just toast or cereal. Eggs, yogurt, sometimes just peanut butter on half a banana. Because your legs feed on protein, not sugar crashes. And I move. It doesn't have to be a full workout, just movement while brushing teeth, waiting for the kettle, or watching the news. Every step is a message to your body. I'm still here, still strong, still moving. And so I ask you gently, but firmly, what does your first hour look like? Do your legs get used or ignored? Because if you start using them with intention, even a little each day, I promise they will answer. They will remember how to hold you steady. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Start tomorrow. Start kind. But please, start. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: aging doesn't take our strength all at once. It takes it in the quiet moments, in the decisions we delay, the habits we ignore, the pain we dismiss. And it starts with our legs, because they carry the story of how we live, or how we slowly stop living. But here's the part no one told me. You can write a different ending. You can strengthen what's weakening. You can reverse what's been slowing. You can rise every morning with intention. And that changes everything. It's not about becoming an athlete or chasing youth. It's about claiming the strength that's still there. The balance, the steadiness, the quiet power in your steps, because your legs don't just move you. They define your freedom. So if you've been waking up stiff, sore, unsure, if standing feels like a chore and stairs feel taller than they used to, don't wait. Don't brush it off. Today is a good day to take your body seriously. Start small. Stand early. Stretch gently. Eat wisely. Move daily. And most importantly, listen to what your legs are trying to tell you. Because they've been with you since your first step, and they still want to carry you all the way forward. If this message spoke to you, do something bold and simple. Type, "I'm ready" in the comments. Let others know they're not alone. And if you found even one useful tip in this video, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Because your health isn't just yours, it inspires those around you. Your legs remember every step you've taken. Now give them a future they can carry you into with strength, with balance, and with pride.